Yeah,
for sure.
we're gonna go ahead and get into it, and just kind of start off with the like how we did last week, just kind of a basic topic before we get into the mailbag. Appreciate you guys for submitting all the questions. But yeah, this week I wanted to kind of touch on emotional sports moments for us personally. We decided we're gonna do one of the top moments that we've enjoyed over watching sports, and this can be any sports, and then a low. Yeah, with that being said, why don't you go ahead and take it away, Ryan? What was your sports moment, the high?
My high, and a lot of people know this just from I literally post this on my Instagram like 2 times a year, I feel like. But the Maglio Ordonez home run 2006 ALCS against the A's to sweep them and send us to the World Series. I was 16 when it happened. I remember where I was. I was in my basement. I remember who I was with. Shout out to Darren if you're out there. I remember like jumping so high that I hit my head on my ceiling because it's a low ceiling down there.
Yeah.
Like everything about it. And Dan Dickerson's call on the radio about it, like the whole thing just gives me chills. And from how bad the Tigers were in the early 2000s, and honestly, like all of the 90s too, to get to that moment in such a quick turnaround, like it truly was a magical moment. And it's so sad how the Tigers have been bad now for 10 years because this really is a great baseball town. And just watching that crowd go crazy is unreal for me. And Maglio was always my favorite Tiger. Before
Same.
then, after that, I love the guy. He's like a quiet killer, man. And he had a great batting average and is just a great player. But yeah, that's mine. How about you?
So my high, and just before I get into it, Mags when he had the long curly hair, bro. That shit,
Bro,
prime Maglio, bro.
when the fans were handing out wigs with all the hair, there's like 20,000 people with that long curly hair.
Oh, that was amazing. Mags was a hell of a player, man.
I did.
Love
Last time I
love that
posted
guy.
that, I posted that like a couple weeks ago, and my coworker texted me. Shout out to Amy, and she's like, "I was at that game," and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh my!" I've never been like so jealous of a person in my life. So,
what
man,
a
to have been
game
there
to
must
go
have been
to.
crazy. I
Oh,
know,
for sure. The crowd was insane, dude.
crowd was insane.
Yeah. But for me, my high, um, May 6th, 2019, Manchester City versus Leicester City, English Premier League. Second to last game of the season. That, just to put a little context in, that season, Liverpool and Manchester City were neck and neck all year. And it was coming
Mm-hmm.
down to the last few games to see who was going to win the title. And 70th minute, it's knotted up 0-0. And the captain, Vincent Company, on his farewell tour, hit an absolute screamer from like 25 yards out, upper right 90. Manchester City wins the game 1-0 and then goes on to win the last game of the season 4-0, beats Liverpool for the title by 1 point.
Wow.
That game against Leicester City, I just got chills talking about it, I swear, because it was such a tight game and everyone knew it was going to be a tight game. The last game of the season, we kind of knew they were favored pretty heavy against that team. I believe it was, man, I can't remember who the last game. It doesn't really matter. But against Leicester, everyone knew it was going to be a tight race. Leicester was a top 10 team in the league, and man, it was just a grind the whole game, and they couldn't score. And mind you, Vincent Kompany's a center back. He's a defender, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you the clip, Ryan. I'll link it. If you guys ever watch the clip, he gets a pass, and he's bringing the ball up, and he thinks about shooting, and then he doesn't, and he takes a few more dribbles up, and then he just lets it rip, and it's one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen in my life. And they go crazy, and he's freaking out. The stadium erupts. It's his last home game, and it was an iconic moment for not just him but for the club. And yeah, like I said, it was his farewell tour, so that was his last home game.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing, man. I remember watching that game, and he hits the shot, and I go crazy. And I was in a Discord server at the time with a buddy that I got from the UK, and everyone's just going nuts over there. And it was amazing. So that's my high. It was a big moment. And then, I I'll never forget it. I watched it again last night because I knew I was going to talk about it today, and I watched a replay of it. It's amazing, man.
And can I just say, as someone who doesn't follow soccer, I appreciate the breakdown of the play and of the league, because I feel like for me, it's just always been hard to follow because I feel like there's 20 different soccer leagues and I never know what's going on.
Yeah.
So when you put it like that, and I actually know of most of those teams you're talking about, that context really helped me out. So
it was a big moment, dude.
Yeah, but both these moments we named are kind of like, they're like Hollywood moments. You know, like sometimes this is like the best thing about sports is sometimes things like that happen, and it's like it's almost, it feels like a movie, and I think that's like the chills part of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was insane. Man, if you guys just want to see what I'm talking about, just YouTube Vincent Kompany goal against Leicester City. It'll pop up. It's going to be the first thing that you see. It's like a 30-second clip, and it was what a goal, man. From one of the most unprecedented guys.
And sometimes on that note too, it's like the most random players in the best moments.
Yeah.
Like David Freese for the Cardinals, like going crazy and winning the World Series, or like Aaron Boone hitting the walk-off for the Yankees to send them to the World Series. You know, like it's like random ass players sometimes that really shine in the best moments. I have no idea why.
So. Hey, Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob.
Oh, you had to bring me down, bro. Why'd you have to do that? Why did she not cover on that inbound, man? Come on.
It was tough, man. That's a tough one. I know. It hurts.
I am depression.
Should have went back to back, dude.
Yeah. All right. I gotta just hop right over that because that's gonna ruin my night.
Well, hey, I mean that's a perfect transition into our sports low moment, though. What was your low?
And actually, that would have been a great low, but I've buried it so deep in the back of my mind that I couldn't even recall. My low, so mine's kind of abstract, but I'll never forget this moment.
Okay.
December 19th, 2004. Lions versus the Vikings. We're down 24-23. Okay. Joey Harrington. Yes, Joey Harrington.
Wow.
Led us on a game-tying drive at the end of the game. Literally scored a 1-yard touchdown to Roy Williams with like 12 seconds left after a pass interference penalty. Okay. Jason Hanson lines up for the extra point. And mind you, this is before the rule change where field goals or extra points were like 35 yards or whatever. This is a chip shot. Right. Jason Hanson, arguably a top 5 or 10 Lion ever, inexplicably misses the extra point.
Gosh.
Like 12 seconds left. They ran the ball one time, game was over. This was a home game. It was against a divisional opponent, which is my least favorite team in the NFL. Shout out to the Vikings. Like Joey Harrington trying to figure it out, obviously not having a great start. It was just such a huge... mind you, like also at this point we're 5-8, I think. Season's kind of over, right?
Right.
But it just would have been great to get that win and just get ready for next year,
especially against the Vikings.
Man, and I remember, and I was that was 2004, 14 at the time. I literally like had tears in my eyes, and I was watching the game with Moran. I wish he was here because of course he was just making fun of me and giving me a hard time, like loser, you know. But that was a tough one for me. What about you?
So it's funny, and this is how I know that the Lions are so dear to our hearts, because the lows are the ones that we remember the most, and my God, we had so many. But
we could have picked from 20 different games, 10 lows on that.
Well, I have another game for you that, and this game was just the ultimate elation, the ultimate just we did it, and then it just got snatched from us. And it was 2010, week 1 against the Bears, man, Soldier Field. I was at your house with you. I can't remember if you were there. I know I was with Moran. I was with your older brother, Rakan. Mm-hmm. We were in your basement. What's that? Sean Hill throws 30 seconds left, right? I believe it was 30 seconds. Yep. Yeah. Hey, Sean Hill throws a ball to Calvin Johnson, catches the ball in the end zone, comes down with it, gets up, the ball comes out of his hand as he's getting up, and then us, like everyone else in the world, learned about the process of the catch. And it was the touchdown that wasn't. The touchdown that got reversed. Instead of the ultimate game-winning drive, Calvin Johnson, first ballot Hall of Famer,
Mhm.
sealing a Week 1 victory against Chicago. It got snatched from us, man. And obviously we go on to lose that game. And it's something that I'll never forget because the process of the catch rule was such a big deal in the NFL from that moment on for a long time until they finally got rid of it. Thank God. Or, adjusted it or whatever. But it's something that we don't have to deal with in today's game. But for a while, that was a big deal. It was, and I mean, a lot of people will remember the Des Bryant catch. That wasn't. That's
Yeah.
all. That's the most famous process of the catch. But it was the first time that we were introduced to it was Calvin Johnson in that game, and it sucked,
Yeah.
man.
And the only reason it could be more famous than that Calvin catch or no catch is because it was a playoff game for Dez, right?
Bingo, right?
With Calvin, week 1 against the Bears, the insult to injury for that though is that Stafford went down in the first half, and that's why Sean Hill even got the chance to come in. So like we really needed that win too to start the season off on at least a kind of okay foot, even though Stafford went down. But man, what a dumb thing. You know what I mean? Like, and if you've seen the clip, I'm sure every football fan has by now. The guy's like Calvin's ass hits the turf.
He down,
literally
dude.
just uses the ball to pick himself up. He never lost control. He thought, "Oh, I scored. I can stand up and just use this."
Right, and leave the ball. It's coming out of my hand. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and the process of the catch takes it away. It's a joke. That rule was,
was
a
a joke.
joke, and
Yeah.
it's upsetting. But again, it was a low because I just remember going crazy the last second touchdown, Calvin Johnson just doing Calvin type things, and then typical it just gets taken from us. It's just I'll never forget it. I'll never forget being so high and so low within a matter of like minutes, bro.
Yeah. Maybe we should have done the lows first. 'Cause this sucks. You know what another moment is too, by the way? I think this was the COVID year, like 2020 week 1 against the Bears, actually. Same thing.
Of course.
You remember what happened with
No.
us driving down the field and DeAndre Swift dropped
he dropped
the
it.
basket catch?
Yeah, his
We were in
first
Moran's
game.
basement for that.
Yeah. I
First
do
game,
remember
and
that.
that's how we start the year. Like it was just man.
Yeah, that was his rookie year. I do.
Like moments like that hurt me more than the refs, I think, because like the refs we just got screwed and you just got to deal. But like that's our doing. Like that's our
For
extra
sure.
point. That's our catch. Like you got to make it.
He had to make that, bro. God, they dropped a dime too.